Okay, so this is a real story. I want to tell you a little story about an experiment I ran. And everything about this story is absolutely true. So let's go. So a couple of years ago, I guess it was about 5 years ago now, I moved from Chicago to San Francisco. I had lived in Chicago for over 20 years, and kind of in the middle of all that, my marriage was ending. So I didn't realize this at the time, but I broke two important social circles. One is just relocating, moving across country, and then changing my lifestyle from being a married guy to a single guy also was a big change. So for the first time in my life, I experienced this loneliness is kind of the best way to describe it. It's like I wasn't like sitting around my apartment being sad, but I wanted to go do things like go to concerts, go kayaking, go watch the football game in a bar. And I couldn't find anybody to hang out with me. And I tried everything I could think of. I tried, Facebook, I tried LinkedIn. And basically the problem was, even if I had an acquaintance or somebody that was a friend, I would call them and say, hey, let's grab a drink and watch the football game on Thursday. And they would all say, well, I've got 3 kids. I'm working 8 hours a week. I don't have time for that shit. And then when the pandemic hit last year, I realized, wow, this is going to make it worse for everybody. So it turns out this is a really big deal. There was a Harvard study, a longitudinal study that lasted for 80 years. And they were trying to figure out what are the things that determine long-term health, longevity, and happiness. Their hypothesis was that it was all genetic. And when they crunched all the data, they realized that's not true at all. It's actually relationships. That having quality relationships with other humans is the #1 factor in determining long-term health and longevity. So what seemed to me is kind of an inconvenience of not being able to find people to hang out with, turns out it's a serious health problem. And Meetup definitely was a close thing. Meetup is great. I love Meetup. It's a great way to meet people for the first time. But what I found in Meetups is that a lot of times, for me anyway, it was difficult to take the relationship to the next level. So I would meet someone at Meetup, and if I liked them, I would say, hey, we should get together sometime and continue the conversation. So give me your phone number. And I would get their number. And a couple of weeks would go by, and I work a lot, so I was busy. I didn't really follow up with them. A lot of times I would get in the mood to reach out to that person that I met a couple of weeks ago. I was like, what was that guy's name? What was that cool guy's name I met at this meetup? I couldn't even remember, lost his number in my contact database. Or if I did locate his number, it was just kind of awkward. It's like, what am I going to do? Text this guy out of the blue? Like, hey, remember I'm this random guy that you met 3 weeks ago at a meetup. So Meetup doesn't do anything to help facilitate that really. You're kind of left on your own to get a text or use Instagram or something. And that's really what I wanted to do. I realized, like, when you go to a meetup, let's say there are 30 people at the meetup, you're not going to connect with everyone. And you're not going to want to be friends with everyone. You're going to have within that people you like, people you don't like, people you connect with, people you don't. So what I always try to do is like just cherry pick, like grab the people that I really like, where I felt like I developed a bit of a personal connection, and then take all those people with me to go do something else. And there was no technology that really made that easy. So I'm an entrepreneur. I build startups. What did I do? I started building an application, an app.
Yeah, this is Debbie. So yeah, that is a problem. You go to a meetup and because you don't want to do things by yourself, but then if it's like a group chat setting, sometimes it's awkward to try to pull out who you want to do something with later.
Yeah, totally. I mean, what are you going to do? You send them a rose or something?
Right. Right.
Yeah, no, it's really a good point. And, making friends, it's a process, it's not something that happens instantly. It's just one of those aspects of life, so much of in our life is just instant gratification. I order something on Amazon and get it delivered the next day, problem solved. But relationships are not like that. It takes time, it takes effort. To me, where I went to a concert by myself, and between the first and the second band, I saw another guy standing there by himself. And I said, hey, are you here by yourself? And he said, yeah. I said, well, I'm here by myself too. Do you want to watch the concert with me? And he said, yeah, sure. And then I saw another guy, I pulled him over. I saw a couple of girls, I pulled them over. In like 5 minutes, we had like 30 people that were hanging out, and about a third of the audience was there by themselves. And I was like, this is crazy. Why are we all going to this concert by ourselves? We all have smartphones. We should connect and go together. But for me, I wanted a real friend. And I started to think about real friends and what a real friend is. A real friend to me is someone that I do something with in the real world, as opposed to a virtual friend. So I have 5,000 friends on Facebook. This is a fact. And I can't find any of them to meet me for a drink tonight. It's like, what good is a Facebook friend, virtual friend, if we can't get together and have a good time? So real friend means real life. It also means, someone I have a real connection with, someone I sincerely enjoy. I don't want to hang out with people just for the sake of hanging out with somebody. I'm looking for people that I really connect with. It turns out it takes a long time to make friends. And he did a pretty extensive study to figure out like how long does it take to make friends. So just to become a casual friend, it takes 40 to 60 hours. And if you think of each experience as maybe 4 hours each, you got to get together like 10 or 15 times and have a good time before you become what's considered a casual friend or beyond an acquaintance. And I started to think more deeply about how did we become such good friends? How did that happen? How can I replicate that in adult life? And it really just comes down to shared experiences. Like the friends from college way back in the day, we saw each other often, either through school or maybe we lived together. And we just hung out and we did a lot of stuff together. And those shared experiences create the bonds of friendship. So I started to think about the process, like how does one become good friends? So on the left, you've got all these kind of group or individual social activities that you can engage in. But there's an infinite ways you can do this. You can go to parties, you can go to business meetings, you can go to events around town, churches, community groups, schools. And when you have these interactions, like I said, you don't connect with everybody, but the people that you really connect with, when that happens to me now, I say to them, hey, it was great talking to you. We should get together sometime and hang out. And then I add them as a friend to ComeWith. So ComeWith has kind of become my place that I put people that I met that I'm trying to cultivate a relationship with. And once they're in ComeWith, which I can show you guys how it works, then I can go do other things. I can pull people together to go kayaking, to go do a concert, to play beach volleyball. And as we continue to do these things over and over again, we start developing more meaningful, deeper relationships. And it's a pretty simple process. And what I notice comes out of the end of the process is, close friends. I've had dates that come out of this process that have, in some cases, led to, romantic relationships. So these are all like really good things. And it all just starts with getting out there, meeting people, connecting with the people you like, and then getting together with them and spending time with them. That was true. So I created a meetup group. I called the group. I wanted to do that, just not alone. And I said, look, we're going to just get together and brainstorm things that we want to do. And we did exactly what I said. We just sat down on the table. We had a few drinks. We, made introductions. And then we just started brainstorming different ideas. And one of the suggestions was to go to a karaoke bar. And someone who knew the area was there and said, hey, there's a karaoke bar 3 blocks away. And I was like, that's perfect. Let's make this our first event. So we paid the tab. We walked over to Sweet Caroline's and had our first shared experience together, drinking and singing and making fools out of ourselves. And I gotta say, it was a blast, and so I didn't know anybody in Miami before this, and now I met 8 people. So then I had another idea. It was a Friday night, like any other Friday night, and I wanted to go out to dinner. And I didn't want to go out alone. It's one of the things I don't like. I don't like going to a nice restaurant by myself. So what I did is we created the first version of ComeWith. So I just wanted to create this experience. I wanted to say when and where what I want to do and when I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to this dinner, this restaurant called Minette downtown. I'm going to go on Friday, April 16th at 6:00. I've got a reservation for 8 people. I was being a little ambitious, 8 people. And I made the reservation, and then I created this experience page on ComeWith. And I wanted, as a single guy, I wanted to balance the gender. So I didn't want it to be like all guys for this particular dinner. I wanted to have an even mix of guys and girls. So I created this feature that allows us to set like a gender quota. So we've got, in this case, 5 slots for females, 5 slots for guys. So I just sent an email to everybody at the meetup with a link to this page saying, I'm going to dinner. If anybody's interested to come with me, just go ahead and tap into it. And so amazingly, I got 4 girls to sign up and 1 guy. And so we got together and we had dinner, and we were all complete strangers. We didn't know each other. And the good thing is we had an absolute blast. You know, it was just a really, really, really fun time. And so I was super excited. So not only did we create this, you know, meetup group and one event, but I was able to find one thing that I wanted to do that I didn't want to do alone. And literally just took me about 20 seconds to get this group together. Every time I felt like doing something, I would create the experience on ComeWith. So I felt like checking out this this dive bar, this place called Lost Weekend in South Beach. And they have, you know, lots of pool tables and darts. And I just wanted to go shoot some pool. So I created this experience, and we added this feature where everybody who was in my network would get a text as soon as I created the experience, you know, so I wouldn't have to message people through Meetup. And so everyone that was in my network, when I created this page, they get a text. If they're interested, they just tap on this button that says, I'd like to come with. And if there's a spot available, then they're confirmed. So I just kept repeating the process, going to meetups, going to other people's meetups, going to my meetups, and then creating these ComeWith experiences. And then the last piece we added that was really, really helpful is we added what's called this acquaintance screen. So an acquaintance on ComeWith is anybody that you've had a shared experience with. So if you went to one of my dinners, or we played beach volleyball, or whatever it is, you show up on a list. So I don't have to like chase people down. I don't have to remember anybody's name or number. I can just see a list of everybody that I've had a shared experience with. And if I like the person and want to take it to the next level, I just send them a friend request. But once that happens, he's now part of my friend network. So the next time I create an experience, he'll be notified over text and over email. And so you can see how you complete the process. You keep meeting more people, you keep inviting them to more of the things that you're doing on ComeWith, and you continue to develop these relationships. Now there's some confusion about this because we're not in the App Store. So ComeWith is basically a mobile website right now. You can find it on comewith.co. Let me just type that for you guys. So comewith.co is our main website. And when you find this, there's a big sign up button that you can use to sign up for the service. And the acquaintance screen is here under the friends section. So when you're under the friends section, these are all your direct messages, basically your threads, message threads that you have with all your friends. And underneath that, there's this Friends Plus icon. And this is the acquaintance screen. So you can see I'm up to 210 acquaintances, which is kind of crazy. Now, these are all people I didn't really get to talk to very much, so I didn't send them a friend request, and they didn't do the same for me. But the ones that are my friends are over here, and I have 78 friends. And I've gone a little bit beyond, obviously, the 39. But literally, when I look back at the first 60 days of doing this in Miami, and I was going out maybe twice a week, not a lot, I got up to 39 friends.
So how are your acquaintances getting loaded into the app?
The acquaintances are just anybody that you've had a shared experience with on ComeWith. So when somebody signs up, so like in this case, Jeff here, he signed up for the ceviche dinner. And so because I'm signed up, the ComeWith knows who else is signed up for the same things that I have. And that's what's used to create the acquaintance list. So I didn't have to do anything as a user. The acquaintances just appear. So as I go out and do things, and I do things on ComeWith, this list just automatically populates itself. For a second, this is the search menu. This is where you can search experiences. And then there's this little filters button that allows you to define what kind of experiences you want. So if I want to find everything that's happening within a 30-mile radius where there's a spot available, I'll plug this in. And that's really the default, search terms. So when I hit this, I'll see everything that's going on in my areas. So the 2 ways to build your acquaintance list are either sign up for other people's experiences or create your own, right? And you can create your own just by hitting this create button. And the create button, you just define the experience. So you give it a name, an image, a date, number of girls, number of guys, location, etc. And it's totally free to create. And this is one of the big differences between Meetup and ComeWith. Like, it's totally free to create. Anybody can create. You don't need a persistent group in order to create. You can just do like an ad hoc thing. So it's super, super easy. But either of those ways, either by creating and getting people to sign up or joining somebody else's experiences, either way, that'll grow your acquaintance list. So when I run events on Meetup, we create a copy of that same event on ComeWith. So this is a happy hour that we ran a couple of weeks ago at a bar called Sugarcane. And people sign up on the Meetup, but in the Meetup description, we also say, hey, also sign up for the same experience on ComeWith. And the reason to do that is it makes it easier to connect through the acquaintance screen. So we're running these kind of in mirror to help the process. And that way, anybody who signed up at ComeWith, you could see in your acquaintance stream. So like this happy hour, we'll probably have like 50, I think we had like 50 or 60 people there. And probably around 45 of them also signed up on ComeWith. So you now have 45 people on your acquaintance list. Like, we don't want to abandon Meetup. We think Meetup is great for the first time, and ComeWith is more to take the relationship to the next level. The other way you can do it is you can add people ad hoc if you have their phone number. So like, let's say you meet somebody at a coffee shop and you want to continue the conversation. So instead of putting their phone number into your contacts database, you can just enter it here or give them your phone and have them put in their phone number. And that will send them a link to ComeWith. And then once they register, you'll be friends. So we call this a kind of quick add feature. I guess I don't know. I've been struggling with this problem for 5 years. And before I started, building ComeWith and using it together with Meetup, I almost never had plans on Friday or Saturday night. After running this test in Miami for 60 days, my perspective completely shifted. My calendar is now filled with social activity. I think you saw I have 78 friends. These are people that I really like and like to hang out with. I actually meet more women now through this process than I do through any of the dating apps. Surprise. And then now I realize, like, it's actually really easy to make friends, and I can't believe I thought it was so hard. It's super, super simple. So before and after, before I was this lonely guy like sitting on the wall, and after I was surrounded with friends. But we're starting to see other customers now, other users of ComeWith have the same experience. There's a friend of mine in Miami. Her name is Tamara, and she came to one of our happy hours on August 13th. So I didn't know her at all. She found our happy hour on Meetup. She attended it. Right away, she signed up for the same experience on ComeWith. Okay, so she signed up in both places. And then the same day, I had a kayak event. I wanted to get people together. So the ComeWith experiences, they tend to be smaller, right? So the happy hours got like 60 people. My kayaking thing's got like 4 people, but that's okay because I'm looking to develop, relationships, more intimate connections, that kind of thing. She went ahead and after the kayak experience, like, she went ahead and created her own. She created a beach volleyball experience. She wanted to play beach volleyball, but because she was connected with me, we have this notification where whenever she creates an experience, I get notified, but we also have a friends of friends notification. So not only do I get notified, but all of my friends got notified. So even before she had built much of a network, her one experience was sent out to like 73 people. In less than 3 months, she's been able to pull 13 people together into her network. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it.
So not if a person is not interested in having like lots and lots of friends, they just want maybe 5 or 7, they just want a crew, just a crew, say 5 or 7 people, and those people get along really well and they do their own activities together. Is that kind of what you would see as like you have your separate thing where you're like just texting old-fashioned phone or however they communicate, but then when you do want the opportunity to plug in, then you hop back on to ComeWith and then plug in there again periodically?
Yeah, it does make sense. It does make sense. I mean, you might look at me as a little bit crazy. You've got these 78 friends and maybe you don't want that. But the thing is, it's up to you to create whatever kind of a network you want. So, you're the one that's building the network by sending the friend requests, and then they have to accept. So it's totally up to you to decide who should be in your network and who should not. And so you're in complete control. The whole idea was to build whatever kind of network you want to have. And we also have a feature where you can manually approve everyone. So when you create an experience, if you turn on the manual approval, they won't be able to tap into it right away. They send you an invitation request, kind of like, hey, I'd like an invitation. And you look at their profile, and if you don't want them to come, you can just decline it. And so it's a way for you to control who's showing up as well. It's normal. But you also, like when you create your own experiences, you're setting the total number of people. So if you just want to have like a get together with 3 girls, let's say, you just say 3 girls, no guys, and then you send all your friends, and whoever taps into it first is going to go.
That
Right?
makes sense. Yeah, that's awesome. I like that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So that was the whole idea. When I've gone to Meetup, it was frustrating to me because I thought sometimes it was very hit or miss. You know, like sometimes I'd connect with the vibe of the group, sometimes I wouldn't. So with ComeWith, I wanted it to be totally personalized. Like I want to control, you know, guys and girls and who's really there and make it almost like a private thing. And so you can do that. You can do that really easily on ComeWith. And let's say I only have 3 friends, all right? And I want to go kayaking. So I put it out there, and it turns out like one friend is sick, the other friend's out of town, and his 3rd friend doesn't want to kayak. And so I'm like, oh shit, I'm back to doing it by myself again. So that's why, at least for me, that's why I started just adding more people, because I was like, okay, you know, when you get to these really specialized things that are more specific than a happy hour, people are going to opt out for a bunch of different reasons. And so I just started adding more friends so that I would increase the probability that I could pull people together. But you don't have to do it that way, for sure. You can do whatever you want. Here's the form. It's just a simple form. You know, you give it a name, you give your experience the name. I like to upload a photo, so I like download a photo from Google that's kind of looks like it's fun, whatever the activity is. So if it's kayaking, I'll show a bunch of people kayaking. Anyway, and then you set the date and the time, and then here's the participant. So like if you just want to do, you know, girls' night out with 2 girlfriends, you can literally just do this. 0 guys, 2 girls. And then it goes to everybody. And this is the invitation management I was talking about. By default, it approves everyone, but you can flip it to manual approval to make sure you kind of are hand selecting everybody. You can also have kind of an intermediate step, which is automatically approve only my friends. But if the person is not a friend, I want to manually review their profile and approve. So we're building a ton of new features too around this, where you can have completely private events that nobody even sees. We're building the ability to have different groups of friends. So you might have, like for me, I might have my entrepreneurial friends, I might have my Pittsburgh friends, my Miami friends, my golf buddies, you know, and I want to be able to segment those. And I want to be able to create experiences that only they see, like only my golf buddies see, or maybe everybody except Bob sees it. Like you can actually put an exclude. Like we had this customer who has his good friend Bob, and Bob, nobody likes to golf with Bob because he sucks at golf and he gets really mad and starts throwing his clubs around. It's like embarrassing for everybody. So we came up with this idea. It's like, okay, we're going to exclude people. So if you exclude a friend from a certain activity, it means they'll never see it. So they won't even know that you're doing it. So anyway, there's all kinds of cool stuff that we can do. Attend our meetups. Everybody who's signed up here should have a meetup group in their area, and there should be at least one meetup event scheduled. If there's not, let me know, because we're also looking for hosts. As we've kind of expanded beyond Miami, we are in 45 markets. We're going to be in 55 markets by Thanksgiving. We need hosts. Hosts are like a volunteer organization that we've built, and it's really a low commit. You just show up and you say hi to everybody. It allows us to kind of create the meetup. So attend our meetups, attend other meetups is kind of the main thing. Say hi to people and be friendly. That's step 1. Step 2, sign up for that same event on ComeWith so that you can make it easier to connect with people that you like through the Acquaintance Screen. Step 3 is to send friend requests to people that you like, and hopefully they'll accept, and you can start building your real friend network. And then keep checking for experiences on ComeWith, for other things that people are creating. So keep checking Meetup, keep checking ComeWith. And then once you have a bit of a network, you can try creating your own experience where everyone will automatically get a text. And if they want to join you, they can. And then just keep repeating. And believe me, in as little as 2 or 3 months, you will start developing, a good group of friends. I would say, depending on how much effort you put into it, at least like 3, 4, 5, 6 friends.